Hey everybody, this is Taz for Drop Top Tees. We're over here at Pascal Park again, right at sunset. And I'm here with my cameraman, Benjamin. Say hi, Ben.
Hello.
Whoop, whoop. And tonight we're going to talk to you about Progress Technology Lowering Springs, which we put on the car several weeks ago. We're done with the 500-mile break-in point. So we're going to show you what our measurements were before we put the springs on, immediately after we put the springs on, and now that they've gone probably about 600 miles now with the springs on, they've settled in, and we'll see if they lowered the car as much as the expected value. Now, Progress Technology Lowering Springs and the Eibach Pro Kit are very similar in spring strength. I'll put a graphic up here in a little bit and show you that. And they're also fairly close on the amount of lowering they do. Most sites say the Eibach kit will lower you about 0.8 inches, whereas depending on where you go to, Eurocompulsion says they'll lower, the Progress Technology will lower your car approximately 1.3 inches. Other sites say from 1 to 1.3, some say just about an inch. So I was really curious as to whether we would get the drop that the different sites said. So let's look at our car and we'll go over, before the car got the springs put on, here were our wheel gaps. And I'm not going to show you me measuring them all because it's kind of boring to watch me measure all the wheels 3 times. So I'm just going to go over the first 2 sets and then we'll measure them right now to see what the final results are. Our left front tire, the wheel gap, which you measure from the center of the hub up to here, was 14.5 inches. Left rear, 14.75. Right rear was 14.8, and the right front was 14.75. Now, immediately after we put the springs on and drove the car home, we measured them again. And the wheel gap, with only about 20 miles travel on them, 13.5 on the left front. So that was 1.25 inch drop right there, pretty cool. 13.375 on the back. 13.8, so we got a full inch on the back right. And 13.25 on the right front. So the minimum drop we got immediately after putting them on was 1 inch. And the biggest drop we got was 1.5 inches, even better than what they claimed after it would settle in. So now, like I said, we've driven it slightly over 600 miles, and we're going to measure the gaps right now and see what our final lowering rate was. So let's do this left front. And we are right at 13.2. And I'm writing this down to turn into them. Left rear. I gotta get that right. 13.25. Right rear, this is the wheel gap that was the biggest on the previous 2 measurements. 13. Let me do that one again. 13.3. So that ended up being a drop of a full 1.5 inches there. And right front. That one's, I'm gonna off one down We're still at 13.25. So overall, our smallest drop was 1.2 inches on the left front. The left rear was 1.5. The right front was 1.5, and the right rear was 1.5. So on average, we exceeded what all the sites that sell them say to expect, because the best we could expect was 1.3, and we got over 1.3 on 3 of our 4 tires. One was just pretty much at 1.3. It was 1.2. So, how does it ride different? Number one, and probably foremost on a lot of people's minds, how does it affect ride comfort? It is a little bit more bumpy, okay? You do feel bumps in the road a little bit more than we did. However, not very much. You notice it, but it's not so rough now that you're like, oh man, this is now unpleasant to cruise around in. We use it as a daily driver. Okay, when I say just a little bit, I really mean just a little bit. It's a noticeable effect, but not enough to change your mind about doing it or making you decide, no, I don't want to do this because it's going to destroy ride quality. It will diminish it a little bit, but not very much. How does it improve cornering? One of the places I checked this out, if you're familiar with the Dallas area, if you're going eastbound on I-30, and turn on to southbound on I-635, or if you're traveling northbound on I-635 and turn eastbound onto I-30, if you have the traffic right, you get to go through a hard 90-degree turn at pretty good hefty speeds. And I haven't hit the maximum that I'm comfortable going through it yet, but I will tell you that so far, after about 8 or 9 tries, I have added at least 10 miles an hour to my cornering speed, and I'm still not feeling the forces that I felt before I put the springs on. So I haven't gotten close to the edge of the envelope yet. I'm probably kind of at the edge, but I'm not to the point where I feel like I'm really pushing it. So it's definitely helped my cornering ability. It helps the lean, and just a small degradation to ride quality. With the amount of lowering we get, it makes the car look nicer. And no way of measuring this for me, with the car being lower, you should see a very small increase in gas mileage because you don't have quite the wind resistance that you did before. But it's not like you're going to get 5 or 6 more miles per gallon. That's not a good reason to do it. It's just a very small side benefit of doing it. So for me, this was money well spent. Again, it's a daily driver. I'm not at the moment looking to do sways and coilovers and all that and go out and track it. But if you just want a nice performance upgrade, doesn't give you more horsepower, but it lets you use what you already have much more efficiently on twisty roads and turns. And that's something that I'm always on the lookout for. If you can show me a good road, I'm going to go drive it at some point. In about a month, we're going to go to Twisted 2020, for example, with engine customs and performance. So that'll be a true test where I get to do turn after turn after turn, and we'll really put it through its paces. This is very similar to the Progress technologies are very similar to the Eibachs. The spring rates are almost exactly the same, just minor differences. However, these are stated online to lower the car more. And as I found out in person, they definitely come through with what they said to lower the car. So to me, Progress technologies are the way to go. if you're looking for a relatively low-cost lowering spring that's going to both enhance the way your car looks and improve the way it corners. As you can see on my shirt, eat or sleep, eat, twisty roads. That's what this car is made for, and lowering springs, no matter what brand you go with, are going to make that twisty road part even more enjoyable. Highly recommend it that you do this to your car. Teslon for Drop Top Tees. Have a good day.